In today's Leeds news, Perri's agent is considering his options, Tanaka will be in demand, and Jack Harrison speaks on his Leeds United future. Hi folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Wednesday, the 8th of April with your Leeds United news. I hope you're all having a really good week so far and your day is going well. It's a quiet enough day on the ground. Daniel Farke's press conference is taking place today. We're not doing the press conference reactions on Big Up anymore. They're now going to be put into a preview show on Big Up in the evenings for more people to get stuck into. We'll have some other people joining us on that to have a discussion around what Leeds will be facing into this weekend. You can also check out last night's podcast, myself, Jerry McNamee and Paul having a chat about the FA Cup game and a look ahead to the Manchester United game and a big weekend of football for Leeds United. And if you haven't seen Jerry McNamee's first 4 minutes, it's incredibly worth checking out. Also, we are sponsored today by Saley from NordVPN. It's an eSIM app that allows you to manage your spend when you're away from home on your mobile phone. You can check out the details on that down below, as well as on last night's podcast. There is a bit of an ad read at the start of that. Right, that's that stuff out of the way. Let's crack on with today's news, and we'll start off with Lucas Perri's future. There's some news that's popped out of a report in Brazil about Lucas Perri's future. That kind of lines up a little bit with what Daniel Farke was saying after the FA Cup quarter-final at the weekend. According to journalist George Nicola, he says that Lucas Perri is frustrated with his position at Leeds United since being dropped from the first 11 by Daniel Farke earlier this year, and those around him are said to be considering the player's future at this point. Daniel Farke did comment after the quarter-final in the FA Cup that he had sympathy for Lucas Perri. That he hasn't had the easiest of years, but he has shown resilience this season, and that's what he wants to see. But according to Nicola, he could move on from Leeds United this summer after just 1 year at the club. Leeds have spent £14 million last summer on Lucas Perri, so they need to recoup that if they can. There was some level of interest in Lucas Perri from Turkey in January this year. That could still be there coming into this summer, but it will be an interesting one should all parties decide to move away. The piece claims that Perri expected to be Leeds United's clear first choice goalkeeper when he signed for the club. But we've all heard the rumours around this story. We all heard that the recruitment team were interested in a goalkeeper. Then Farke wanted somebody else specifically. There wasn't an agreement on that. There was a compromise made, and Lucas Perri ticked boxes that both sides wanted, but probably not all the boxes that they wanted at the same time. We did hear that Leeds United's first choice option last summer was Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, but he made it very clear during the summer that he had no intention of moving to England. He wanted to stay in Italy, and he signed for Napoli. He's played 22 times for them, and they're sitting second in Serie A. But Perri's move to Leeds United was part of him hoping to push his way into the Brazilian national side, playing in the Premier League against the goalkeepers that he's competing with, Alisson, who is still in the Premier League, and Ederson, who has played in the Premier League. Nicola claims that there is serious interest in Lucas Perri from Brazil as well as other countries that have been mentioned. And from a Leeds United perspective, Leeds United would need to try and bring in as much of that £14 million that they spent on Perri last summer in order to just make sure they navigate the SCR model that kicks in for next season. They can make some form of a reporting profit, which would help them then in spending money in the summer transfer window. Whatever way this goes, it looks like it's another summer of Leeds United looking for goalkeepers. It could be a complete overhaul of the Leeds United goalkeeping department. They're all out of contract. They're all out of contract, and Perri could leave. Although you would expect that Carl Darlow would sign an extension at the club, given the season that he's had, assuming he wants to stay at Leeds, and he probably want reassurances that he'd be considered as a first choice option as well. So yeah, the goalkeeping position is going to be one to keep a really close eye on between now and the end of the season. We'll move on. Talk about another player that's in demand, Misao Tanaka. The situation around his future is going to be interesting this summer. Tanaka will be away at the Japanese national side at the World Cup, so his summer movement or summer interest could be short and sweet and could be quite dramatic, but there is said to be a lot of interest in him, and it's not just coming from Germany. Leeds last week made it known that they would prefer to hang on to Tanaka, and they do see him as part of the club's longer term plans, but he hasn't been getting the minutes that he wanted this year, and that's a common story now with a couple of players as we get closer to the summer window. But given his performance against West Ham United, that did back up a lot of claims that fans, myself included, have been making over the past couple of months. If Leeds want to be more progressive, if Leeds want to be a more attacking side, and now Tanaka needs to be getting a lot more minutes than he is, and given the games that are coming up, he needs to feature more in those matches. Sky Sports Germany today are reporting that there is interest in Tanaka, and it's not just coming from the reports last week linking German sides with him. They also claim that there's English interest in the Japanese international as well. Schalke 04 were the side that popped up last week that were said to be the front runners. They were the ones most likely to test Leeds United coming into this summer, putting in a bid and seeing what would happen at that point. They're pushing for Bundesliga promotion, and if they do get up, they see Tanaka as an ideal player to bring into their midfield. But Sky Sports also claim that several English Premier League clubs that are unnamed at this point also have interest in out Tanaka, along with SC Freiburg, Hannover 96 and Union Berlin in the Bundesliga. So he is a player very much in demand at this point. Tanaka, from his part on this, and this is just rumour I suppose, but he is said to prefer to stay in the Premier League. So it will be interesting to see which Premier League sides are having a sniff around out Tanaka and what Leeds can do to hang on to him. The report says that if Leeds did consider selling out Tanaka, that they would be looking for a fee over £10 million, which would give them a huge amount of PSR, SCR profit on that. But they do also say that Leeds would rather keep hold of him at this point. Again, regardless of who is interested in him, it's going to be a very interesting summer. The minutes he gets between now and the end of the season are going to be a factor in this as well. If he's not playing football, if it's going to affect his international football, then he might want to look to move away from the club as well. But there's mixed reports on this. Some saying that Leeds will look to sell him. Others are saying that Leeds have no interest in selling him at all, given the performances that he did put in. And again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. He is the kind of player that does better the more minutes he gets. You look at him playing 2 games for Japan national side, then he comes into the FA Cup team for Leeds, and he looks like a different player than he did in his last couple of appearances for Leeds United. So, yeah, for me, he's got a very important part to play between now and the end of the season. I would love him to stay longer term. I think he's a very tidy player. His ball retention is excellent. His tackling, his pressing is excellent. And his progressive passing is very, very strong. And he's got goals in him as well. So, you know, I wouldn't be in a rush to let these kind of players move away from the club. And they definitely should be getting a lot more minutes than they are. But you can let me know your thoughts on it down below. Let's move on to another player, another possible exit. It's all exit news today. And it's Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison has struggled for output at Leeds United since his time under Marcelo Bielsa. And his decision to move away after Leeds United were relegated, along with comments made by his mother that were caught on camera, haven't helped his position with the Leeds United fan base. He's really struggled to reintegrate back into the Leeds United squad, despite the fact that Daniel Farke had a lot of positive things to say about his work rate and training, his effort that he puts in, and his professionalism. It just didn't materialise on the pitch when he came back to Leeds this season. He then moved off to Fiorentina on loan, and that's not gone particularly well. It's getting better, and he did get an assist in their last match. But Harrison's given a pretty raw interview to 442 magazine. It's a very honest one. He speaks about his Leeds United career. He talks positively about the Leeds United fans, his struggles that he's had, as well as his potential future. And a couple of the comments that he's made are very pointed towards where his direction of thought could be coming into his summer. And speaking to 442, Harrison had the following to say. It was a difficult start to the season. It was something that I just hadn't faced before in my career for an extended period of time, just not playing. It's very positive coming here, getting more minutes and playing in the Conference League, which has been an incredible experience, travelling and playing a small taste of what it would be like to play in the Champions League. Harrison spoke about his potential next move away from Leeds United. His contract at the club runs until 2028. He is on a very high wage at Leeds United from the contract that Victor Orta gave him before Leeds United were relegated. But he did have a lot of good things to say about Ellen Road and the fan base and the passion and atmosphere. And he said the following. If I want to be playing at my best, which contributes a lot to happiness as well, I have to be somewhere it's the best thing for my happiness as well. Finding that place will be incredible. Wherever it is, I'm not quite sure, but I'm open to possibilities. I miss the atmosphere of Ellen Road. It's special. I speak to David De Gea and he always says going to Ellen Road was incredible. A lot of people admire the environment there. They're very passionate fans. And when you have that energy and everything's going well around the stadium, it really does give you that boost. Now, just the comments in this alone clearly point to a player who is looking for his next move. I think it's probably best for all parties. He's clearly not part of Leeds United's plans moving forward. He understands that. He's got a contract to 2028. He could just sit, pick up his salary and see out his contract at Leeds. But it appears, at least from what he's saying, that he will look to move away from Leeds United this summer and try and get a move. So the next couple of months are going to be really important for him and the performances he can put in with Fiorentina, because if that goes well, it shows other Italian sides that might have interest in him that he could step in, or clubs in England or further abroad. But Paratici at Fiorentina last week said that won't be happening. He won't be signing for Fiorentina permanently. They've got a pretty low option. But if his performances improve over the next couple of months, there's no reason why Fiorentina wouldn't roll back on that and sign him. He's now got 2 assists for Fiorentina, which is 1 more than he's had in each of his last 2 seasons. So there's a very strong possibility that it's on an upward trajectory. You just don't know with Jack. But for everyone involved in this, from a Leeds SCR, PSR perspective, Leeds need to get him off their wage bill if he's not going to be involved in the first team. The relationship with the fans is completely broken. That doesn't look like it's going to change anytime in the future, despite his positive comments about the fan base at this point. So it does look like for all interested parties, Jack Harrison will likely move away from Leeds United. Should there be any clubs interested in taking him on, and should he be interested in maybe dropping his salary expectations to help him get that move? Does he want to play football, or does he want to make more money? He's got plenty of it. We'll have to wait and see. Again, just a reminder, you can check out last night's podcast, which the first 10 minutes are very entertaining. Jerry had a blinder last night. It's very much worth checking out. And also check out Saley, from NordVPN, the eSIM that will keep your spend down on your mobile phone when you're away, with some plans that you can use before you even leave your sofa. So yeah, there you go. That's your news for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. See you later.